Good morning if you're in the UK. So this is the start of the London session. So I just wanted to give a quick update on my projection of price, just a follow up from the video that I released this morning. If you haven't watched it, just go on my page and watch the earlier analysis I did this morning. So this is again just a build up from that. So price has pretty much moved exactly as anticipated. The only difference is initially this morning, of course, I had sort of anticipated a move down to retest this breakout range. So this is an initial range that was broken out of, right? And then price obviously would have anticipated a retest and then a continuation. But what happened, of course, price provided a secondary opportunity. So usually what can happen is when we do see, or when rather I see an accumulation range like this, and of course, if you're a retail trader, we're all retail traders, but if you utilize retail concept, then you'd probably see this as a wedge, right, of some sort, I guess. But this is not what I see when I look at the charts. Rather, what I just see is a period of the market contracting, and then obviously thereafter, what we saw was the market then broke outside of the range, right there. So this is the high of the range. This is the low of the range, right? Market broke above the high, and then that produced a secondary opportunity at the retest of the range. So again, typically what I personally would do in this case is again I just set pretty standard stop 1.25, or sorry 12.5, and then of course I go long on a 1 minute confirmation, and of course my target was still that AOI, right? So my target is still this AOI. So we can see the market obviously traded right into our area of interest identified this morning. Just a reminder of why that area was an AOI. So again, what we look for key areas of liquidity, and key areas where price inflect. So this was an area, key area of liquidity. Why? Because okay, this were prior highs. What was sitting above this highs when price was falling? Well, the sellers in the market, so sellers will position their stop losses above these highs, and stop losses represent buy orders. So therefore, there will have been a buy side liquidity pool residing above these highs. So again, when the market vector accelerated, so vector acceleration is essentially when the price moves in a fast succession. So we can see just a succession of bullish candles above this high, right? So vector acceleration above the high. So any trader that would have been, for example, selling in this range would have been caught off guard. So these buy positions would have then be turned into sell positions from the perspective of obviously if you're an institutional trader, if you are holding the shorts in this area, then so if you're holding the longs in this area, then you would have been able to get in on a short position. So hence why this became a bearish order block, right? So my area of interest is obviously this high, which is where obviously the market broke above and accumulated before breaking back below the range. So this is why this was my area of interest. So what we've seen is price obviously traded right into the area of interest, retested, and then it's now traded back into the range. Now the question is, what next, right? So Asia, we had a long opportunity. Now what next for London? Well, for the what next, it's important just to refresh that sort of higher time frame perspective, because at the end of the day, when I trade, when I look for setup, whether scalp opportunities or day trade opportunities on the lower time frame, right? It's always within the context of the higher time frame perspective. So just a refresh of the HTF. So daily, again, like I said, I'm still anticipating if today closes as a bullish session, then there's most likely going to be another 2 3 days of the market rallying, creating new all-time highs for gold. Right, so daily BST is something that is likely the market could interact with, but again, there's a likely we could see today close as a contraction session, and then we could see a bearish continuation in the days to come. Also, taking a look on the 4 hour time frame. Again, the 4 hour again, if you look at this picture, what can you see? It's an accumulation, right? Market is creating highs, lows, and it created higher highs, lower lows, but still trading back into the same range, right? So this is an accumulation of price of orders. Now, the way that I see this as well, within accumulations, you also have trend cycles. So obviously, a key part of the key component of the trend cycle I'm looking for is okay, where is price within a trend cycle? I can see that Right now, we have an incomplete bearish cycle that's taking place. So we have the initial accumulation, and we have a break below the accumulation, creating a new low. And then the market traded to did a liquidity purge above this high, and then obviously gave a stop hunt. So obviously the market began to come down, and then took out the early sellers that came into the market. And the way that I see it, right, we are potentially still within a bearish cycle on the 4 hour with a projection of price heading down towards this initial low that was created down here. Now, if we take a look on a 1 hour time, on a 1 hour perspective, again, we're looking at again the same accumulation range, just a little bit more zoomed in, right? So again, a key part of this is we had a bearish cycle, the market reversed, stopped out any traders that came in early, right? And now we have the true trend that's taking place after the stop loss has occurred. So we have the initial break of structure, and we have the initial low that was formed after the break of structure. We can see a morning star trap back into the range, and the market came down again and gave a railway trap back into the range before the market obviously accumulated, rallied, and then obviously now taking out key areas of buy side. So if you watched the earlier video, I mentioned there's two things always at play in the market. The first is the move from buy side to sell side to buy side. That's a cycle that's constantly taking place. And the second theme at play that I look for is again the move from an area of balanced market to an area of an imbalanced market. So we have a very balanced market down here. So the market broke above that area, traded to an area of imbalance, right? And then from this imbalance is where I'm anticipating a continuation to the downside, a continuation to the downside in line with the trend. But there's no guarantee of that, right? Because all of this is probabilistic in the end, right? There's always a possibility the market could simply keep on rallying into our daily BST and create an all-time high today, right? So I want to wait for one confirmation to validate a bearish continuation taking place in London. So what is that confirmation? So what I'm looking for, what I'm waiting for, is a valid 15-minute break of market structure. So what does that look like? Well, we can see again if you just we just follow the ebbs and flow of price, right? The 30 minutes as from Asia this morning created that final push into our AOI, traded back into the range. So we can see this is a nice railway track back into the range. And if we take a look on the 15 minutes as well, it's the same picture, right? We had again a full bullish cycle. The market reversed, gave another bullish cycle on the 15 minutes right into our AOI, and is now traded into the range. So for me to identify a break of structure, my area of interest is this intermediate low that was created right here. So what I do want to see is this next candle. I want to see two things. So I do want to see this next candle close below this low, number one. Number two, there needs to be evidence of some sort of an imbalance. I don't care how big the imbalance is, right? But there needs to be evidence because right now this area of price is looking relatively balanced, right? But I do want to see an evidence of some sort of imbalance being created um, for this to validate a break of market structure shift. Because then what I'll be looking for is again for after the market has given a valid break of structure shift, I'll be looking for the market to then trade into that imbalance. And that imbalance is where I'm going to be looking for an entry confirmation to go short. And then from there, I'll be looking to essentially trade a bearish continuation to the downside. So again, the market could trade into this imbalance. Remember, there's also a higher imbalance up here as well, right? So again, the reason I'm not just going to say, oh, BMS has happened, I'm just going to enter is because I'm always looking for precision entry. Anyone that has known me personally as a trader, you know that I aim for like I can get easily from this range, right? If I was to nail a very good entry within this range, all the way down to the low, easily could give me a 1 to 20. But it's all about the entry. So, and to get the really good entries, a lot of patience is required. So right now, just waiting for that break of market structure to confirm within the next 8 minutes. When that happens, I'll wait for the market to trade within my range of interest. So then I'll zoom into the 5 minutes time frame again. I want to see a full 1 minute bullish cycle into this range, right? So what I mean by a 1 minute bullish cycle is I want to see a 1 minute low created break of structure, and I want to see a bullish trend on the 1 minute into my range of interest. Once the moment I see the market complete a 1 minute cycle, that's what I'm going to be interested in entering because, of course, what would happen at the end of a bullish 1 minute cycle would be a reversal, and that reversal would be essentially a continuation in line with the 15 minutes bearish cycle. So again, this is how the themes I use to trade is very simple, where you just need to tap into a systematic flow of price from the higher time frame to the lower time frame in order to be able to to nail those really good entries. So yeah, so that's just a brief update. Anyways, if you are watching this, you are looking for a short, fantastic. But if you're looking for something else, maybe you're seeing price potentially pushing higher, please feel free to share your analysis in the comments. I'm obviously very interested in contrarian viewpoints. But except from that, wishing you a fantastic trading session this London.